I wasn't really talking, KP. I was just sitting here in the chat. So I'm just out here seeing who shows up, man, or see what anybody's got to say about their day or their weekend or who knows. They might have an opinion on something or want another opinion on something. So they ain't the only one thinking about it. Have you produced it yet, or you just are you did you do this video today, or is it out there? Because if you did, I'm not seeing it in my notifications. Roger that. Uh, yeah, I'll have to go watch it, man. See what you got going on. Seems like we got a neighborhood chihuahua on the rampage out there somewhere. People use those damn chihuahuas for damn burglar alarms because they're the best burglar alarms you can get. The damn chihuahua. They're extra sensitive. Kind of had my mind on a few things today. One is I've got relatives in the UK over there, and so I kind of keep an eye on what goes on over there. So, but here in the last few days, if nobody's seen it, the videos have been redacted heavily coming out of this little event, but evidently a couple of thousand farm tractors and some privately owned tanks, believe it or not, were having a standoff in Parliament in London until things come to a understanding. Yeah, there's some issues on the outer banks of America, pretty much. It's sort of like this, KP, you gotta draw a circle, and where that circle's at is where I was talking about the line between the east and the west. And we're in the far west, the very far edge of that western line. That's our back door right there. We don't really allow anything to come into our back door over there if we can help it. We absolutely wouldn't tolerate any Russian warships or anybody's ships to be inside that Pacific line out there. So what's on the outer banks of that line is Japan, and Japan is located in the east. It's and we occupy that island of Japan. And then with this little recent incident with some Russian aircraft and some Chinese aircraft doing flybys on the North Korean border down there, inside airspace, that's probing. It's just probing. It's poking the fence. It's poking that fence over there. And then whenever you hear these propagandas about Russian soldiers in Venezuela, that was only to assure the evacuation of the Russian citizens that were inside Venezuela that wanted to leave before this conflict happened. And just kind of got to read through it. But I was talking with one of our Canadian brothers the other night for a couple of hours. What's up, Mac? Hey, look, any of you guys want to come up, man? I'll put that link in the chat stream. I think it's already in there. You're welcome to come up. But there's the link if you want to come up and chat. Well, I mean, you're talking about the earthquake that just happened over there, and they put a tsunami warning up and all of that. Usually, okay, Mac. But anyways, usually if there's a bunch of fatalities or something involved in something like that, that's when it usually hits the mainstream of the news. There's a buddy of mine that's up in the he's up in the Missouri area, and then I got another buddy of mine up in Pennsylvania area up in there, and he's and they're the one earthquake guy is called Dutch Sense, and he's had lots of bouts with the U.S. Geological Society of Brain, USG. He's had lots of battles with them over his predictions of earthquakes and potential tsunamis and stuff. He's pretty interesting to follow, and he keeps you up on what's going on with earthquakes worldwide, pretty much. He does a he does a live stream on Rumble, and I'm not sure if he's on X, but he's on YouTube also. But he's a real good source for information. But whenever you get sorties, yeah, yeah, he knows his shit, Macabus. Old Dutch Sense does, man. But all this commotion, there was some sorties flying around with some bombers into the fucking North Korean airspace. But it's sort of like that's just poking the fence. That's just poking the fence to see if there's a readiness on the other team. You know, are they ready? They're just poking to see how on the edge they could be, or not to necessarily cause a reaction, but just get an answer, just a knock on the door, pretty much. But this recent thing, it's like I've been saying all along, and I try to keep up with what I talk about. I don't switch to different subjects or anything. I have a tendency to stay on point. And people inside the United States, and how it will affect you. It just will affect you, no matter what you think. If you're out in the edge of in your county, out in the woods, on your own big piece of property or anything like that, it's still going to affect you, regardless. Don't find yourself thinking that you're immune to what goes on in the big world, because it will come knocking on your door. And I've been saying it all along. In the last few weeks, Russia has put a emphasis on evacuating Russian citizens from the country of Venezuela. That's a fact. Uh, so is Chinese officials and people inside that country's already done been backing off. They went back to their homeland, or they found another country around there close enough to pretty much still stay in talks with Maduro. But Maduro's days are numbered, just like Donald Trump said. We recently, today, acquired a major oil tanker of Venezuela. And it's like I say all along, Cuba has nothing without Venezuelan oil. Only the little bit of oil field that they have around Cuba out there, but that could be embargoed and took under siege by the U.S. Navy if necessary. It's happened. We didn't get to Guantanamo space there for no reason. Britain's on the edge of a civil war. It's not going to stop. The farmers are taking it into their hands inside Britain to shut the farming industry down. And as before, it's happened not so far long ago when the gasoline tanker trucks went on strike. See, and it's already involved that the tanker ships, the tanker shipments of trucks, the lorries coming in and out of UK major cities, especially London, are shutting down. A couple thousand tractors inside the Parliament Square, and the government shutting every government into the government section of London itself, closing every street inside that whole area. And there was nothing that anybody could do. And the king, he pretty much made a fucking useless statement for unity, but unity's not going to happen. Does the fucking, I mean, it asks the question, does the London British, are they more in favor with the Islamist, are they? They import up for between 500 and 1,000 Somalians and Middle Eastern refugees enter Britain every day. You have to understand that. They have thousands and thousands of people pouring across their border into their cities. Yeah, for sure, Maccabees. The people of Britain feel as though they are under siege from from a parasite, let's say, that drains their welfare systems and their economies and takes their jobs, you see. And we inside America, we have the same problem right up our asses, all of us. And people are just been way too afraid to just admit it. And what that says is in the recent statements that's being made by the Trump administration in regards to that, and then what Elon Musk means in his words. People who are inside our country under our flag that have the potential to have anything on God's green earth that they want right here inside this country, and they choose to hate this country. They're not even born inside this country, and they're in this country hating this country. And the line is essentially, it's time to just say something about it, to enforce something about it. It means get the hell out of our fucking country. And we've got all of these libtard ass fucking thinking ass propaganda media. They're all going about it, talking about they're legal. They're not illegal. They're illegals inside our country. What supports them? Our economy. If it's not our economy supporting them, it's our tax money supporting them through the welfare systems, the free housing, and everything that's involved in that. And guess what? Nobody ever invited them, did they? They're just uninvited guests, and people don't look at it like that. So whenever you have a majority of individuals that's coming in from these hostile regions and crime-ridden places, and it gets inside your cities and inside your towns, and it starts eating away at you like a cancer, what do? Are you like Europe? Are you just going to continue to let that cancer grow, or are you going to cut that cancer out and put it where it needs to be, back in the shithole trash can country that it came from? Enough's enough. It's staining our flag, and it affects us. It makes our families feel unsafe. It makes you feel unsafe in one way or another. Why the fuck would anybody inside this country think that they needed to go all the way back up in the fucking woods somewhere and be armed to the fucking teeth to try to keep anything from coming down their fucking driveway? Who the fuck wants to feel that way? I don't. I'm not going to. I refuse. I'll be in the trenches. I'll be on the front line. That's where I'll be. So, sorry, kind of went on a rant there. That's where our freedom of speech comes in, you know. And a person like Elon Musk totally understands that. Because of all of the illegal immigrants that's flowing into the coast of Ireland and British shores, you know, the economy is gone to complete shit. So the prime minister took it upon himself to go ahead and say, well, let's just take what the farmers have, you know, to have a 400,000 euro valued farm. You're only making $30,000 a year off of the profit of 400,000. And then they've passed a rule to where if you pass away, if your kid, your inheritor can't afford to pay the tax on that, the full tax on that 400,000, then they lose it. They essentially take it away from them through taxation. That's what's going on there. They're taking the lands, they're taking the farms, they're taking people's livelihoods away from them to barely make 30,000 euro in profit a year, and it's to feed your family, have a car, have what you need on a big massive farm. Yeah, right. So they starve them out. You got, I mean, it's like I say, I'm older. Sometimes I just keep my nose probably everywhere that it don't probably belong. But that's where it's at. And if something's going on with part of my family heritage, things I came from, you know, it affects me as an American. And it's sort of like we're safe inside our country, you know, but the people inside our country had to come from somewhere, didn't they? You think their family just went away because they came to this country? Their family didn't go away. They're right there under that fucking royal fucking tyranny. And that's something we refuse to do as Americans. How's the weather up your way, man? Must be cold up there. I've been seeing videos with snow in them. So we got New York, you know, and you have to understand that the person that got elected for mayor inside uh, New York, you know, he's a Muslim guy. But people like him, their opinions and their downplay of what their beliefs are and everything inside their public office of New York City, man. You're talking about a major thing, and people just they ignore that. And the Somalian population and the Muslim population inside that region is enormous inside that city. You're talking hundreds of thousands of fucking people, you know. So, and then the people inside America are sort of kind of apprehensive now about, well, should I be apprehensive about some of these people and some of their motives and some of their beliefs when they're not willing to leave me and my belief alone? They're trying to make me follow their belief. Oh, yeah, 30? Whew, man, I feel for you, Mac. I'm a fucking snowbird that came down and stayed down. That's what I am. I can't stand that cold anymore. I think KP's have to be the one to tell you, man. You got people down here. If it gets down to 45 degrees, they got their freaking Arctic wear on, man. I'm telling you, we don't like that freaking cold shit. Oh, I can't stand it, man. Mac, you gotta quit that shit, man. You're making me feel cold. How's your uh how's your new hacienda? How's your new hacienda, man? Is it pretty comfortable? Is heat good? Everything good and comfortable there, man? I know when I was in Wisconsin, I took clear Visqueen, man, at Big Farmer Industrial Visqueen, and I had a fifth wheel parked there. When I would come up and work, I would stay in that fifth wheel, and I took that Visqueen and put it completely over the top of that fifth wheel, and then uh, put stuff around the edge of the base of it and covered the whole fifth wheel out with it, all the way sealed to the ground, and then took me a razor knife and some duct tape and cut my door out so I could get in and out. Oh yeah, man, that's that fucking that's that fucking aluminum skin you got wrapped around you, you know. But it's back to what I was talking about on what's on my mind, and uh, maybe I know I'm not the only person thinking this. But it only gets a little more painful, you know. Uh, that little strategic planning that they did there, KP down there in the Metairie, you know, uh, and Kenner. Well, you got to understand where Kenner's at. Kenner's the last city that you go out of to exit New Orleans area, the city, and you either got to go a certain fucking way, and the way you got to go, you can't escape. And what that is that corridor. Yeah, and that corridor, if you understand what I'm saying, there's a strategic point there at Airline, where Airline Highway and Kenner and all of that starts to go north into New Orleans. So that's the only corridor to get through right there. You know, the 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 other corridor, there's a way to go out through the West Bank and manage to get up through. Yeah, there's a way to get out. There's another corridor that goes out, but that's over there on uh, Highway 1. But it puts you out on the other side of Sunshine Bridge on the west side, west side over there. But you have to come up Airline Highway to essentially to break out of New Orleans City, and then when you have to go around and go out across Pontchartrain, you know, you can gotta hit I-10 corridor to get back towards Texas, to be able to move. So yeah, yeah, you come up through there, and it'll bring you back out right down here, just below me, back on Airline Highway. It puts you around it, but that's a strategic point right there. I mean, essentially, the plan is they're hoping that a lot of the people will just go ahead and leave and head back towards whatever they need to be heading back towards. They'll go ahead and voluntarily do that. Otherwise, they don't want to put their family and their people through the trouble. But uh, it involves that involves southern Mississippi right there too. It just does. That's that and Mississippi that they put in there when they're saying that they're going to enforce it. So they'll start shutting it down. And they'll form blockades to where they're in every grocery store parking lot. They're in every lumber store. You got to understand, if you want to go out here and do a job as an illegal inside this country, you got to get your shit from somewhere. You see, and if you come down there to Home Depot to pick your shit up and there's agents inside that parking lot, looks like you ain't going to be getting anything. And the grocery store outlets, that's where they'll be. They won't be out here knocking on doors or anywhere, because believe me, you can't sit there that long without needing groceries, gas, or something, man. I just know that what I've seen, that a lot of those type people are really on edge. And it's like that one guy said down there, and he says his phone ain't stopped ringing since I showed up. And he's a construction worker guy. He does renovations and remodeling stuff, and his phone ain't stopped ringing since all of them showed up down there. Because why? He's got to go out here and find guys that need some work, put them in the truck with him, and get them out here on a job to get somebody's job done so they can put some money in their pocket. I don't see a damn thing wrong with that. Yeah, if you ain't got a boat and you're trying to get out over there on the damn east side, you got Highway 11, you got I-10, and then uh, you can try out Chef Manure Highway, out 90. But that's only three paths going out through there. There's no other way out of that fucking city. It just ain't no way out. It's a illegal alien trap there. That's what that is. You know, and if they trap them inside that city, you know, ultimately they'll just tighten that circle and tighten that circle and tighten that circle in to where there'll be thousands and thousands and thousands of people deported out of the New Orleans area. They just will. And by that time, that starts really getting bad. Then they'll push them all the way up into Orleans Parish. They'll push them out of there, but it'll push a lot of people into Baton Rouge area. It'll push them, keep pushing them west. It just will. You can't, they're corralling people inside these cities. If people ain't paid any attention to that, I have. You know, it's subtle, but it's true. They've got hundreds of thousands of people corralled up inside these cities. And I watch all the highway patrol updates and stuff from here to New York City and how they're patrolling, putting extra patrols out there on illegal alien illegals, you know, and they're using that new technology that we keep talking about. They're putting up on light poles everywhere, and it reads the license plate, it reads the facial identification software, it reads all of that, so there's essentially no escape. It's back in the day, you know, whenever the country would say, "Oh, we're going to declare martial law," that was just to get the bad guys under control. But this is 2025, man. You know, we have shit out here in the government and that's capable of doing these things to where they already know who you are at the point that you leave your driveway. They don't care if they pull you over. They know who you are. They know who's inside that car. They've already done captured it through a damn digital software algorithm. If you've got a fucking little red dot on your fucking name, that software keeps following you till the officer comes in behind you and pulls you the fuck over. That's just how it happens. And people don't get that. And all of these cars and traffic coming in out of Texas, you know, hauling all of these drugs and all this other stuff. They already know where the drugs came from. They already know who's going to be driving that car. They already know that car, oh, we're going to pull a fast one. We're going to trade cars over in Dallas. Well, when they trade cars, they already know which car they traded into because they're tracking them through all of this digital system that's inside the traffic interstate highway system inside this country. You can kick the bucket all the way down the road and say, hey, I want to live in a city where they don't have that in the city. Well, good. But you're not going to live on a federally funded highway interstate coming through your city and tell them that they can't because federal jurisdiction. People don't even think about that. They don't have to ask permission. If that city receives federal funding, and all of them, let me explain that to you, all of them, all 3,100 counties and parishes and boroughs inside this country receive federal funding. Why? Because they got everybody living inside that city. Can't say that there ain't some of the majority of the people in the population living on what? EBT, federal subsidies. So federal jurisdiction, my ass. They already have jurisdiction. And all of the poor communities, all the hollows and everything else where you got the poor class people living that might be on it, they already got jurisdiction to be in it. This is sort of like this thing going on with the federal government. They want to say, hey, what the fuck did y'all do with all these fucking, where's all this money going? If it's going where it needs to be, good. But if it ain't, we still want to know. We want to audit, like I told somebody way back. They should be audited. And that's what's happening. They're auditing. So now you've got 16, 17 states that are blue states inside this country that are saying they don't want to tell, and they shouldn't have to tell the federal government what they spent the money on when they won't give them the records. What the fuck does that say to you? And people don't believe that, man. They really don't fucking believe that. They think that they these people fucking think that this doesn't affect you. It don't affect me. I work. Bullshit. That's because you just stupid motherfucker. When you go in a goddamn grocery store and you say, why is these fucking prices so fucking high? And you think, oh, because of the president. No, it's not because of the president. It's not because of any fucking body. It's because, one, the social welfare system inside this country has to be paid from some fucking body. Where does that money come from? It comes out of your fucking paycheck. It comes out of your kid's mouth. It comes out of your fucking property. It comes out of your fucking livelihood, whether you choose to believe that or not. The second that you walk up inside that fucking dealership and pay fucking $90,000 for a fucking pickup truck. I know it's like I had this conversation with uh, with Dragon. Me and Dragon had this conversation about this, and it's kind of like you're getting fucked when they tell you it's more costly effective to use robots to assemble cars in assembly plants. The labor's cheaper. Then why is the fucking cars 6 times higher than they was? What are you, a dope? It's not that they're selling more fucking cars. There's cars inside this country where they produced millions of cars back in the 60s. Millions. Technology was supposed to fucking be used inside this country to better the people and the citizens inside this country. It was supposed to be for, you got to understand this. It was supposed to be for our best interest, our best social life, how we should not struggle. Our people should not be hungry. Our people should be able to live out their American dream inside this country and do it freely. Now, technology says, hey, we're going to charge you out to ask for this. We're going to charge you out to ask for this. This is going to be very, very expensive, and it's only going to get more expensive. And it kind of just fucking wipes you out. It puts you down in your fucking human financial slave cell, and that's where it keeps you. I don't give a fuck who you are. You can say, oh, I live on my own land. I grow my own food. I do everything myself. Okay, you do. Where you buy your bullets, where you buy your screws, where you buy all these things that you got to have out here. Where you buy that from? Your fencing. Where you buy that from? Your home security system. Where you buy all that stuff from, huh? Somewhere I don't. Is there a place you can buy all this stuff and still spend all this money to so-called be out here living on your own? Because I'd be fucking willing to say that there ain't. The fuel inside your gas tank on your vehicles and everything else comes from that goddamn gas pump up there, just like everybody else's stuff. And that's that division. And that's what needs to be thought about. This division. You can't fucking tell these fucking idiots anything out here in the fucking world. They already got it figured out. They already know it. They're already there before they get there. And then all of a sudden, they don't know what it means to try to break ranks, because what do? You got to listen to this. This ain't your fucking choice. You got that choice to say whatever you can do, whatever you can choose whatever you want in the free world. But when you're in the fucking services inside this country and you took an oath to that fucking flag, you do what you took that fucking oath to do till the day you fucking die. That's just how it is. It's that's how it is. You swore, you swore an oath a long time ago, but that don't matter. Suck my dick. That's a rant. Everybody's always out to label a villain, and somebody's always wanting to try to be some kind of villain, and it don't make no fucking sense. We all know we all know who and what's fucking up our goddamn social systems and stuff inside this fucking country, but yet no man speaks. Elon had enough fucking balls to say it. We are Americans inside our country. We are not Venezuelan. We are not fucking Somali. We are not Middle Eastern. We are Americans. And the ones that are from these places that'll tell you they are Americans, that's the ones we want to keep, just like our ancestors. You know, I hear that shit. Some of these fucking people that fled from these fucking countries, they may not be of a strong mind, you know. They may have been living in some fucking city saying, hey, god damn, I can't be, I'm not capable of being a soldier. I'm an accountant. I don't want to live in this. I want to better my life for my family. So what do? They come to our country. That's the ones we keep. Oh, exactly, Mac. That's dead on, you know. Uh, I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, it's like I keep telling people, and Mad Chad hit the fucking nail right on the fucking head. He said to me, "What's up, Pat? Good to see you." So he hit the nail on the head. He said, "Well, I can do these things. I can help my neighbor. I can do things for my people. I can. Why do I have to permission from anybody to do that?" Exactly, because you don't. You can take responsibility and saying, "Okay, I'm good at what I do. So how can I put this in other people's hands to be good at it too?" You know, some of these people, man, they don't want anybody to be good at anything that they're good at. Is because they're scared of this fucking crazy ass competition of fucking, chip on the shoulder. I don't know what to fucking tell you. It's kind of weird to me. I mean, it's got to the point to where it's this it's this fucking lack of fucking participation in the Academy of America. It's like everybody wants to fucking sleep in. Everybody wants to fucking skip school. Everybody wants to go to the river. Everybody wants to go on vacation. Everybody wants to what? Ignore the facts until it's right there on your fucking doorstep. And then when it hits you in the fucking face, you're going to be the first one to fucking know it. That sounds kind of crazy, but it's the truth. You hear all this shit about these fucking tabloids and all this shit going on. Oh, this is saying this, and this is saying that, and this is saying that. And I'm going to tell everybody in this whole entire fucking country, why do we allow this? And and that's why I kept cracking that fucking saying. It's uncivilized. The people that founded this fucking country and gave us our goddamn America, who were they? They weren't savages. I believe in the people of Britain. I believe that each country should have its own based ethnic societies, if that's the way they choose. Who's to say? But these countries should have their own beliefs in what made them what they are, what put their name on that map, what kind of people wrote their name on that map, those kind of people. Well, I mean, you got people that it's it's un-American to tell a person what they should believe. It is American, however, to allow them to practice in the beliefs that they follow. And it's also American to say, if that religion starts going out here causing harm to other free minded American people inside this country that says, hey, I don't care what you really do, I don't care. If it's that bad and we may find it offensive, then you're still able to have that behind your own closed doors as both as you should have consenting parties as witnesses. It's got to be legal. We don't want somebody's religion to practice, pedophiles and drag kids behind closed doors and do things to children inside this country against their will. And that's the whole thing about it. You don't want a relation. I do not want a religion inside my free country under my constitution that says, hey, you're going to follow this religion and you're going to do it. And not give you, or you're crazy. That's what we founded this fucking country for. So we had rights to our religion. It's in the founders' rules. We're not going to bow to some king or queen and worship and bow down to them. We bow down to our God, whoever that God may be. It ain't that queen and it ain't that king. And it ain't our president. It ain't our congressman. It ain't our public office. We don't bow down to nobody except for ourselves and the God that we pray towards. It's a rant again. Y'all guys got me off on a fucking rant. Oh, I totally get the shit. You know, what do you do when you get older and you got more time on your hands to sit around and look at things in more precise details of some things? And then some people will just come along and tell me, oh, you're just fucking wrong. I'm like, okay, I'm wrong. Great, accept it. I'll accept you're right. You accept I'm wrong. Whatever. I'm still pissed off that the coffee that I drink costs 15 freaking dollars for a can of. Can you imagine that? Something that less than 4 years ago cost $5 a can. Same coffee, made in the same place from the same people. I mean, we live in a nation to where our gas at our pumps, it should be 99 cents. 99 cents. But it ain't because the corporation's selling it to you. It's got to have 3 times the money. And then the state that you're selling it in, well, they already know this, so they're going to tax you 3 times the amount of money for it. So, in a way, they kind of endorse this shit. You try to put these laws in place that says, hey, no gouging laws, which means that you can't price gouge people inside this country and just completely take advantage of people at a weak point. And whenever they're bleeding you fucking dry because you barely got enough fucking money to survive and pay your fucking bills as it is. And then what do? They jack the fucking price up even further and they just keep jacking it up and jacking it up and jacking it up. Houses soar and estimated cost, you know. My family's got a fucking duplex that was built back in the late 60s. And my pops bought that house, that duplex property, way back in 1985 for $20,000. Now, the tax value on that property is something like $300,000. The fact of the matter is that's impossible. The boards and the wiring and the material that it took to build that house, you know, is the same material. Oh, it costs more for people to come out and have to do things. No, it doesn't. It doesn't cost any more. It's just the material costs more now. The same material's got to cost more, even though we got engineering technology and all the lumber mills and all of these things are happening, you know, but it costs more. No, the industrial fucking regime are tightening them fucking chains around your fucking neck, just like in the War of Independence when the royal guards would come on your land and brand your fucking trees and claim them for their own. And if you cut them down to try to make you a cabin or anything out of it, you could be fined, imprisoned, if not executed. See how that goes? Hey Mac, if you're still out there, did they give you did you look into that digital antenna thing that goes? You may put that up on the top up there and run you a wire off of it to where you can get a digital signal. And the cell phone uh, with the plug-in earphones, it's got the cord that plugs into the ear jack down there. Some cell phones can use that for an antenna, the cell phone itself, but I'm not sure if it works that way on yours. You might get you a digital antenna app. I don't even know if there is such a thing. Well, what's the topic about, y'all? I can go on like a old woman. What's the other topic out there? Max said it's cold as fuck up there where he's at. Yeah, that's a good deal, Mac. I I know that we had up in Little Schwamico, Wisconsin. It's above Green Bay up there by Michigan on the north side. And we had a digital antenna that we had up on a pole out there outside so we could get digital signal inside the building because the building was a freaking metal building and the cell phones already sucked all the way up there. A dandelion. I didn't know. I guess it is. You could have dandelions in the winter. They grow in those. Don't dandelions grow in the clover? There's a link again if anybody wants to come up and run their mouth. I'll just sit here and listen. Oh yeah, yeah. I see them. I see when I was a kid. Uh, I had a horse when I was a kid. You know, a real horse, and it took quite a bit of effort to convince that horse to walk through a patch of clover without stopping. You know, you're little, it's harder to pull up on them reins and try to get him to keep from wanting to eat it. But eventually, I got him around to where he wouldn't stop at every clover field there was on the trail between me and the store, which was about 2 miles away. You know, through the woods on a horseback. That's how I got to the store when I was about 8, 9 years old. I ride that horse without a saddle and a essentially a rope bridle with no bit and bareback. A little puny fucker would all I have on was shorts with no shirt, no shoes, and I'd ride him through the woods 2 miles to a little old store and tie that horse out there. And these people would pull up in their cars and shit, and they'd see this fucking horse and see my little scrawny ass, and I would tie him up close to the front parking rail on the store. That way I could stand up on the parking rail to get back up on his back because he was a lot taller than I was. I couldn't get on him unless I had something to get up on his back. I was too little. I had to have some help, and I didn't have a saddle on him. That must be that Native American side of me. I don't know. But it's already got to that point. It just has. It's got to the point, and here we go again. And people better be ready for this one. It's coming. The states that have refused to give receipt for the federal funding that EBT uh, they're going to stop the administrative funding. Okay, it doesn't mean that they're not going to get their food stamp benefit for that month. It just means that they're not going to get the administrative funding, which is personnel. The federal system is not going to do it for them. They're going to have to figure it out for themselves, because whenever you give them that option, they got to figure out what they're going to spend that money on, and they got to pay for that, you see. Yeah, the thing about it is I think overall people's got the wrong intentions on. It's just going to get, you know, it's going to get a little worse before it gets better. You can't. It's a battle. That's what it is. It's a war against something, and they expect everything to be instantaneous. Oh, we got a new president. Okay, it's instantaneous. No, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions of people that have to be sorted out, you know, and that's not done easily, and it's damn sure not done quickly. It's not going to be a quick thing. It's just going to, when you have to move masses of people from one geographic location to another, then that's something you got to have to work out. Oh, I don't care about no caps, Mac, you know. Uh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Mac, man. A couple old guys hang out and talk about some shit. That's about all it is. Yeah, that's right. Pat, the thing is people just expect it to be overnight, but it ain't overnight. I mean, you'll feel the economy effects. Like the young dude down in Orleans had a YouTube going viral about how his phone ain't stopped ringing, and he's just a young guy working, trying to make a living, working on some old houses and doing fixes on everything. He does everything, in construction, and his phone ain't stopped ringing since then. So that's people feeling the effects of it. The landlords, they need something fixed, and they need to get it fixed right away. And these guys these illegals, I'm gonna tell you, it's been known, they don't even like riding around in trucks with ladder racks on them. They don't want to be in a vehicle with ladder racks on it. I mean, I physically seeing it happening down here. I mean, I'm right in the damn right there. You know, I'm I got Airline Highway that goes into New Orleans. Fuck, that's 2 miles away from me, straight to New Orleans. It ain't. It's the next city down there, Kenner. Yeah, that's the thing. You just got to think about. That's the way I look at it, Pat. I go back and I think, well, I didn't do as good as I would like to on one thing when I had opportunity. So the next opportunity that comes up, that's the one I take. Yeah, Big D. You're gonna have to remind me, Pat. What? Just give me a state, and I can remember. On where that's at exactly. I mean, you just got to plan ahead. That's all. And you got it like Edison. He didn't make the light bulb with one try, but he only had to succeed one time. So you take all those little successes. Yeah, Texas, that's right. You take take all those little successes and cultivate it into a whole success. That's sort of how this YouTube shit works for the most part. That's how it should work, you know. Because believe me, there's a lot of damn crazy stuff out there on the interwebs. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream here. And appreciate y'all coming by, listening to my rant. Uh, hopefully soon, Macabus, you can get your system working. Daily Plaza. Yeah, you know, I used to go, Pat, I used to go into Dallas Fort Worth every week, and I had a job where I had to go to every Montgomery Ward store in Texas, actually, at the time. And it used to take me like 3 days just to go through Dallas Fort Worth area, you know, Arlington, uh, north of Dallas, up 45, and I was coming in from Pasadena, Texas, below, uh, almost between. I live between Galveston and Pasadena, down there on 45. Well, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it all down, and I gotta go watch. I want to go watch KP's video on what he did today. You see, he's had it uploaded on his channel, and catch up with you guys. There's a lot of guys I have to keep up with, you know. So every chance I get, I look in on your channels, and I appreciate you looking in on mine. But I'm gonna go ahead and sign off of the Zombie Force channel. Share it out, man. Get some more discussion going on. All right. Have have a good day. Okay, Pat, Mac.